everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting Lieutenant Titus. Yes, this is the Lieutenant iteration of the beloved character from such properties as Space Marine, Space Marine 2, and that show on Amazon that I've just immediately forgotten the name of. I had it, but it's gone. Anyway, we're going to be painting him up today because, well, I feel like he should be immortalized on the YouTube forever in the Warhipster channel, and he's been quite important for my sanity over the last couple of months. You know, played a lot of Space Marine 2, really loved the game, and cannot wait to see more from this character in Space Marine 3. And he has had a announcement of Captain Titus and his friends, so, well, we might as well get the Lieutenant whilst we still can. So, we're going to jump in and we're going to start painting him. He's been primed in Grace here. And the colour we're going to be using first is, of course, a roughly 4 parts Asurmen Blue to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix. And we're just going to apply this over top of all of his blue armour. And as always with our Ultramarines, we want this to be a nice smooth coat, but if it isn't, that's okay, because we can just use our little glaze later on to fix it. We're going to apply this over top of all of Titus's armour, excluding his knee pad over here. Pretty certain that's the only place, but if there's more, I'll learn about it when I look at the picture again in just a minute. So bear with me. So with that Asurmen Blue applied, we're then going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Ultramarines Blue, and we're going to apply this over top. Again, same rules of engagement apply. We're looking for a nice smooth coat, but we're not too worried about it being perfect. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Black Legion, and we're going to apply this over top of the soft joints in his armour and the casing of the chainsword and the bolt pistol. So with that all done, Titus has actually got some really bright leather on him. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Cygor Brown to 1 part Lahmian Medium. That's going to tease out that lovely red tone in Cygor Brown, like that. And we're going to apply this over top of all of his leather, so his belt and his pouches. What we will also do here with this is we are going to apply it over the top of his hair. That will not be the final colour of the hair. So with that Cygor Brown all applied and dry, we're then going to take a little bit of Wyldwood. We're going to apply this over top of his hair. And so with that Wyldwood applied, we then take some Skeleton Horde. And we're going to apply this over top of all the parchment. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red, and I will just say that we put the skeleton horde over the top of the skull there and the bones in the little reliquary. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some Flesh Tearers Red, and we're going to apply this over top of the grip of the chainsword and over the top of that star on his shoulder. And with that Flesh Tearers Red all applied, we then take some Volupus Pink. And we're going to apply this over top of the wax seals of all of his oath papers. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Guiliman Flesh. We're going to apply this over top of Titus's face. So with that all done, we've now got rather a lot of gold to apply. So we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to apply this over, well, all the gold details that you can see on the box art. So it's mostly the decoration, and the trim of the shoulders, and stuff like that. And with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining details. So with that all done, it's time to add some shades. We're going to start with some Soulblight Grey. And we're going to apply this over top of the white details. And we've only got a couple of those. We've got the two bits of cloth here and back here. And we have that knee pad. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. We're going to apply this over top of all the gold. And we're going to apply this over top of the brown, the face, and the skull on his shoulder. And with that Reikland Fleshshade all applied, we then take some Nuln Oil, and we're going to use this over the top of all of the silver, but we're also going to use this over the top of the black of the casings on the weapons. And with those shades all applied, Lieutenant Titus is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. However, we're not going to leave him there, of course not. We're going to take him to the next level. We're going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now the first of these is going to be that corrective layer that we've used in the past for Ultramarines, and it's going to be some thinned down Macragge Blue. I'm going to thin it down with roughly 4 or 5 parts water to 1 part Macragge Blue. I'm going to use this to just sort of glaze out all of the mistakes and splodginess and really punch up that blue armour across, well, all of his blue power armour. And we'll also do this over the top of the Ultima on the knee if we need to as well. But really, should just be mostly the armour. The Ultima isn't particularly troublesome when it comes to applying the contrast paint. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to highlight all of the blue. And we're going to take some thinned down Calgar Blue to do exactly that. So with all of that Calgar Blue applied, we then take some thinned down Fenrisian Grey, and we use this to add some spot highlights to the upturned edges and the sharpest corners. So with that all done, we're now going to move on to all the black details. And we're going to take some thinned down Dawnstone to do these. I'm going to use these, like I said, to highlight all of our black details. With that Dawnstone all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take a teensy tiny little bit of Administratum Grey. I'm going to use this to add some little spot highlights to those black details. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Deathclaw Brown. We're going to use this to highlight the leather. With that all done, it's now time to relayer the white. What we're going to do for this is we're going to take some thinned down Corax White. Relayer the white with it. We're repeating ourselves a lot in this video. And so with that Corax White applied, we then take some thinned down white scar, and we use this to highlight those white bits. And with that all done, just along the hem of those white cloth bits, we're going to take a little bit of Iyanden Yellow. I'm going to draw basically an edge highlight here. So with that all done, our next job is to take some thins down Steel Legion Drab. And we're going to use this to highlight his hair. And with that Steel Legion Drab applied to the hair, we then take some thins down Kislev Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight Titus's face. And with that Kislev Flesh all applied, we then want to take a teensy tiny little bit of Black Legion. And we're going to use this over the top of his eyeballs and over the top of his service studs on his forehead. And so with that all done, we then take the tiniest little dot of Screaming Skull. And we're going to apply this in the corners of his eyeballs. Just like that sort of thing. However, what we're also going to do with the Screaming Skull is going to use this to highlight the parchment and his teeth. And so with that all done, we're then going to take a little bit of Squig Orange. I'm going to use this to highlight both of our red details. And with that Squig Orange applied, we then take a little bit of Fulgrim Pink. And we use this to highlight the wax seals. With that Fulgrim Pink applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. And we're going to use this to highlight all of the silver. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. We're going to use this to highlight all the gold. And with that Liberator Gold all applied, we're now going to finish off Lieutenant Titus by taking some Cygor Brown. We're going to use this to add some text to all his little parchment bits, including to his shoulder. We're going to write the word Ultra. And so with that base now complete in the same style as we usually do, Stirland Mud, dry brush with Tyrant Skull, and the rock has been done with Black Templar and dry brushed with the Tyrant Skull. Lieutenant Titus is now done, and I'm actually quite glad we got him in before Captain Titus arrives, whenever that's going to happen. And I actually quite like the model the more I look at it. You know? Is it the best it could be? No. But is it pretty good? Actually, yes, I think so.
If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.